Hello and welcome back to Coffee Theology. We're having part 2 now of What is Theology, and I'm back here with Roger. Thank you for coming back, Roger.
Great, excellent. Thanks so much. It's great to be back with you. And actually, just to make a little plug right at the beginning, behind us, this lovely backdrop, we have books. And actually, as part of our resourcing as a church is to make books available. You can borrow them. And
Awesome.
We have many, many good books that can help with our theological understanding.
Awesome.
You don't have to buy them.
No.
You can borrow them.
Yes. Come and borrow some books. So, I know in part 1 you spoke of theology actually meaning the study of God, and that it's not just for theologians, big T, but it's actually for everyone to get to know God better. And I actually loved what you said about the people of Berea actually going away to check the scripture to see if what Paul had preached was true. And I love that, and I think that that's what we can really notice and do for ourselves.
Yeah.
Well.
I think it's absolutely right. It's such a powerful story, isn't it? Because let's just imagine Apostle Paul coming into town, and you think, and you just, but they didn't swallow everything, Now, obviously, what he did say was true, but they took their responsibility to examine it, to examine that for themselves. I think that can be even more important today, and I'll tell you why. It's because one of our big cultural challenges today is celebrity cult.
Sure.
And it's there in all of life, the power of celebrity, and it can happen in the church.
Yeah.
And the danger with the power of celebrity is that you can give an authority and actually a power to that person, man or woman, and that can be unhealthy.
Yeah.
So I think there's a big lesson for us to learn from the people of Berea. I think it's very, very timely for us.
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant. So are you ready for some more questions?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, okay.
At King's Church, we're very blessed on a Sunday with the teaching that we receive, but there is a responsibility on ourselves to then cement our own convictions. Yeah. What is your journey of that in your own life? And
Okay. First of all, thanks for your kind comments, about the teaching. Yeah. I think my own journey is that I had to become convinced. It matters. It's important to have a theological framework of thought.
Yeah.
Not just as a leader, but as a believer,
Sure.
as a disciple.
Yeah.
I had to come to that, and I think it's Peter, isn't it, who writes, we need to know how to give an answer, an account for the hope that's within us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you see, so if we're at our place of work and a non-Christian friend, we can go to our place of work, okay? And a non-Christian friend asks, well, why do you go to church? Or you don't really believe in God, do you? Your answer is a theological one. And now, you're not going to frame it in that way, but actually your answer is going to reflect what you're convinced of.
Yeah.
And we need to have those convictions, so we all need to do that journey. And I think my journey has been one of starting from that personal conviction that is important.
Yeah.
Then there's some things I've said or been in discussion with people that I've been challenged about, and I think it's good to be challenged theologically.
Yes.
Because we all come from our own starting point, our own preferences, our own prejudice.
Yeah.
Even our own worldview.
Yeah.
So we approach this book, the Bible, with a Western viewpoint.
Wow, yes.
So what's the word I want? Already. There you go. Thank you.
Originally.
That's the beauty of interviews. You can give me the right words. Okay, so already we're starting from a kind of slightly what's the word, and possibly an unhelpful viewpoint.
Yeah.
The West is very individualized, whatever, whereas actually this is written from an Eastern viewpoint. So theology is getting under the skin of, okay, what's the Bible really saying there?
Yeah.
How do we understand that? And that's with books like this, for example, quick little plug, okay? But this book, Jesus Through Middle Eastern Eyes,
Brilliant.
Cultural Studies in the Gospels by Kenneth Bailey, he gets under the skin of the Eastern way of thinking, and you think, So his first chapter on that is all about Christmas. And without giving any spoilers, because I wouldn't do that, okay, because Christmas is coming soon.
It is.
Okay. Oh, it might have happened by the time we have to send this. But actually, it challenges our Western way of thinking. We need that.
Wow. Yeah, that's brilliant. And so you have a lot of experience in church leadership over the years. What has been kind of your main challenges, or has there been any challenges in helping people understand correct theology?
Okay. I think there's been huge challenges. I would say in church leadership is one of the biggest challenges, actually, of church leadership. It's not the only one, but I think it's one of the biggest. It's bigger than what I thought it was going to be.
Wow.
And I think because there's all sorts of influences and wrong emphases and things and, which actually can affect me. So I'm not trying to speak from any sense of superiority. I've got it all together. I'm not saying that. Actually, far from it. I feel theology is committing yourself to being a lifelong learner.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay, and that's where it's always good to be in a place of challenge. I listened to something on podcast this week that was way above what I could understand. I was grappling with whatever, but it was challenging me. It was good, and we need to do that.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to help people, and so sometimes I have conversations with people and say, well, why do you believe this? And it's good to open the Bible together.
Yeah.
And I think that's when Paul writes to Timothy, who is leading the church in Ephesus, a lot of his advice to Timothy as a leader is helping people to grow in their understanding of the truth.
Sure.
Now, having said that, we've got a challenge that Paul or Timothy didn't have. And that's the internet.
Yes.
Okay. And, oh boy, you can, well, can first of all say there's some very, very good things on the internet. I've accessed stuff on the internet. I think I've done more of that since March, since the first lockdown, and genuinely been helpful. So it's a blessing. It can be good, but there's lots of other stuff that is really, really unhelpful. I think it's just not biblical.
Yeah.
But of course, it's presented in a very persuasive way.
Yes.
So again, if we don't have those theological convictions, we can sort of think, oh, well, that seems to work. Well, the mere fact something works doesn't mean it's right.
Yes.
And that was a really important lesson I learned in the early days. So as a church leader, I think one of the things we need to do is help people discern what is right.
Yeah.
And
Brilliant.
hopefully, if we can help people on that journey, then that's good.
Brilliant. No, that's great. And so, between having our own convictions of the meaning of things in the Bible and remaining teachable, how do we get the balance right on that?
Yeah.
That's a hard question.
It's a hard question. What do you think, Zoe? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the dangers. Sometimes it's good to put the things to avoid out first.
Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice.
Love
it. Okay. Not the book, okay? But Pride and Prejudice, I think, are the two dangers of the human heart, the two dangers of my heart.
Sure.
And I think as soon as we get to a very kind of arrogant position or a proudful position of I'm right and I know I'm right, whatever, and a prejudiced position, I think we get into a danger area.
Yeah.
So somehow I think we've got to learn to be humble. And part of humility is being teachable.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think just having that humble, teachable, but a heart that wants to learn, a heart that wants to grow.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Theology is the study of God. And actually, so it's not some academic subject.
Yeah.
It's about knowing a person. And actually our faith is about growing in the knowledge of God.
Yes.
And if we kind of get that one, then that should feed in us a bit of an appetite to think, okay, what helps us in our knowledge of God?
Yeah.
Because getting to know someone helps you to love that person. Getting to know God, who is perfect in every way, in the way the Bible talks about, helps us to grow to love him.
Great.
Did I answer your question?
It's brilliant, yes. Thank you for unpacking that. You've made me a little less scared of the word theology.
Okay.
And do you have any, just to kind of end, do you have any recommendations for us to help us all of us on this journey?
Yeah. Okay, there'll be no surprise to this. Okay, my first recommendation is the Bible.
Brilliant.
Okay, so read the Bible. But I also, and be honest about that, we can struggle with reading the Bible. I can struggle. I've just started reading 1 Chronicles. Check it out. It's a lot of names. It's hard work. You kind of thing. So sometimes it's good to have books that help you get the best out of the Bible, and that's where commentaries can help.
Okay.
And today we have some brilliant, kind of different, I don't want to use the word levels, that's the wrong word, but different types of commentaries that help us to access Scripture. Phil Moore's Straight to the Heart series, brilliant. Tom Wright series, brilliant. And the list goes on.
Great.
Okay. And books like I recommended, that Kenneth Bailey book, can really help us. But I also recognise that reading's not for everyone. Some people can really struggle with reading. And that's where actually the internet can be super helpful. And like Phil Moore has done that amazing series when lockdown started of Acts, the whole book of Acts.
Brilliant.
Yeah, in little bite-sized bits. Now he's doing something else.
Yeah.
And that's why in our newsletter as a church, we'll always try to advertise or recommend some videos as well.
Great.
Because for some, that's just a better way of learning.
Yeah. Awesome. Great.
And also, let's learn from each other.
Yes.
I know it's difficult now, isn't it, because of lockdown. But it's good to have theological discussion, actually.
Brilliant.
It can really stir something. Let's not be afraid to have that.
Yeah.
Let's stir that, be teachable, be humble, and that can be a good thing.
Awesome. That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Roger, for joining us. And just unpacking that and simplifying it almost to bring it down to our level. Everyone's level. But yes, thank you for joining us today. And if you have any questions about today's interview or even any of the resources that Roger has spoken about, you can email us at pastoral@kingscc.org.